Having a CEO run the country like a business is one of those things that sounds good in theory, but when you actually stop and think about it for 5 seconds, you realize it's a really terrible idea. And it's one of the things that Trump voters found so attractive about him.
I mean, the man is worth $9 billion.
Somebody who has run a multi-billion-dollar empire is much better suited than a freshman senator.
But a CEO is supposed to run a business, and the government is just not a business. The goal of a business is to maximize profit, while the goal of a government in a democracy is to represent the will of its citizens and provide things like healthcare, security, and infrastructure. These things are not just different, they're actually kind of the opposite. Just look at who's supposed to be in charge. In democracies, the citizens are supposed to have the ultimate authority. In a corporation, that authority lies with the owners and the CEO. And corporations are entirely totalitarian institutions. Sure, the CEO may pay lip service to the concerns of his employees, but at the end of the day, the owners and the CEO make the decisions and the employees follow orders. Compare that with how our government is supposed to work. We have the right to vote against, protest, and challenge our leaders, even insult them publicly.
This ambassador from hell himself, called Barack Hussein Obama, got y'all in a trance.
Try publicly calling your boss an ambassador from hell. You won't be at that company for very long. The skills of a CEO and a political leader are almost diametrically opposed. A president has to build consensus, respond to public opinion, and manage complex diplomatic relations, while a CEO, at the end of the day, just has to squeeze out as much profit as he can. If they don't, they will be replaced. Still, a lot of Americans have a hard time seeing the difference between a government and a business. Case in point,
the Postal Service has as many workers, very nearly as Walmart. It's the nation's #2 employer. We cannot afford this. The business model, if there is one, doesn't work.
Yes, the U.S. Postal Service loses money. But here's the thing, it's not supposed to make money. The Postal Service is supposed to provide postal services to all citizens. For example, a private company like FedEx or UPS might not want to open an office in a poor, remote, underpopulated area like Hysham, Montana, because it's not profitable. The U.S. Postal Service sets up shop there so that the good people of Hysham, Montana can send and receive mail, because the government helps pay for it. And if the U.S. Postal Service didn't exist, UPS and FedEx wouldn't have a counterweight to keep prices low enough that even people in Hysham can afford it. And the same goes for something like healthcare. If you run it like a business, that means prioritizing profits. If you run it like a government, that means prioritizing care and saving people's lives. Because the confusion between government and business is so deeply ingrained, Republicans like to harp on how much healthcare costs the government. Yet our market-based system costs more per citizen than any other developed country, while still leaving 20 million people uninsured. But at least profits for our health insurance companies are doing pretty good. Anyone concerned with governing and not business would be looking to provide more care for more people, not more profits. So when President Trump talks about running the government like a business, that would only be good if we lived in a totalitarian dictatorship. Wait a minute.